Yes, sir.
Good morning, Professor Guruswamy.
Yes, sir.
So, good morning to you all. So, let me share my screen and then I will start my presentation. So, hope you all can see my presentation.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Thank you.
Carry on.
And my voice is clear?
Audible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, today I'm going to talk to you like you have done a wonderful research work. You have done such an hard work in writing a good quality paper. So, many times researchers are not aware that how to choose a journal. So they publish in some low quality journal or predatory journals. So doing research is as important as choosing a right journal for your right research. Sometimes you publish in a journal which is not directly relevant to your research. So you will not able to read a good, get a good citation. Because it is important that when you publish something, it should be visible to people. People should make use of it. So it's very important for everyone to know what journals you should choose for publishing your journal. Professor Guruswamy has just given my introduction, but in addition to that, I will tell you that I am working from last almost 10 years on this topic, plagiarism, research ethics, academic integrity. I was the member of the UGC and MHRD committee for drafting of plagiarism regulation, which is known as Promotion of Academic Integrity and Prevention of Plagiarism 2018. So, and besides, I have been associated with various initiatives. It may be UGC regulation in 2009 for electronic thesis submission of that I also part of the committee. I'm also associated agency as a member for this UGC care list. So in some or other way, I have been part of all such UGC regulations and initiative. Besides, my work on plagiarism has been recognized by, like Turnitin is one of the very reputed software. So my work has been also awarded in form of an award by Turnitin. Last 10 years, I have been spoken on these subjects in hundreds of universities and colleges in India. I'm regular speaker in JNU or Delhi University refresher courses or many universities where this HRDC is organizing programs. Almost every alternate day I'm speaking on this subject. I'm also directing as a dean at IGNCA two courses. One is in research methodology, another is research publication and ethics. Research and publication ethics course that is equivalent to 2 credit course of UGC approved course. And also we have 9 PG diploma courses and 7 or more certificate courses. So this is a subject very close to my heart, and I always try to create an awareness and also try to make it simple to understand people. So this is my background on the subjects. So let's talk today. How to publish your writings. First, last talk I have given you some tips what to write and how to write. I'm sure you have understood it that. So now today I will be focusing on publishing, what to publish, how to publish, where to publish. You should publish in open access publishing or traditional publishing models, because both have their own advantages. Like open access publishing, visibility is quite more. So many people prefer to publish in open access publishing. But when you publish in an open access publish model, you have to be very careful that the open access journal which you are choosing should not be a predatory journal. So I will also try to give you an idea what is a predatory journal and how to avoid publishing in predatory journal. Besides, I will also let you know in my presentation that how to choose a right journal. There are certain tools. I will introduce you certain sites which help you in choosing a right kind of journal. So these are the topics which I am going to talk to you in today's presentation, and we'll try to make you aware that publishing a quality article is important, but at the same time, publishing in a quality journal is also important. So let's before that, I want to make you some important issues which you should understand. Like when you want to select a journal, what are the criteria? What are the issues you should keep it in mind? Like while choosing a journal, what are the important parameters, quality parameters you should keep it in mind? The most important, editorial board. When you see the editorial board, it should be familiar to you. The people in that editorial board should be the best in your field. If you come across something unknown names in that which you have never heard in your field, you should start doubting that nobody nationally, internationally is part of that. And if you want, you can verify the credential of those editorial board members. So that's the first criteria. More than aim and scope of journal. I think that should match your research objectives, because your research should be published in a journal which is most relevant to your research, because that way you will reach to the wider audience, the right readership in that context. And what is the stature of the journal in your field? Like how many people know about it? Check with your colleagues or friends. Do you know this journal? How this journal is all about? And then also average peer review time. Like how much time it is taking. Sometimes you are publishing an article which is not published for a year or 2 years. So you should check that how much time this journal is taking in publishing your article. What's the track record of that journal? Is that journal has been any kind of charges in terms of retraction or publishing false articles or fake articles or something like that? Then citation metrics are important. Impact factor is really important to know, but which impact factor the journal is giving you. There are certain kind of impact factor which are not very well recognized. Then ISSN number is must. The journal must have ISSN number. Where is the location of the publisher? Is complete address given? Is it affiliated to some university? It's a commercial publisher. If it is an unknown publisher and location you are not sure about it, you may have doubts in that. The quality of the website. Nowadays, most of the journals are online journals. So quality of the website should be of most important criteria. Is that website providing back issues? Access to back issues? How long the website is in operational? Is that website is having searchable system? Is that website is linked with indexing systems like Scopus and Web of Science? Is that journal is indexed in those important databases? What are the other additional features of that particular website? And is that details given, whom to contact, guidelines for authors? All these things should be checked on the website. And popularity. How popular is this journal in your field? So these are the few basic criteria. You should keep it in mind while choosing a journal for publishing your valuable research output. Because if you publish in some journal which is not of quality, it may be waste of your research. So now, other important thing which I want to bring to your notice that you should publish only your original research article. It may be a review paper, it may be a research paper, it may be any kind of note or whatever, but it should be original. You should not publish anything which is of doubtful, like which is not ethically correct or which is also not professionally correct. So in that regard, you should avoid duplicate or redundant publishing. You should not publish anything. So what is this duplicate and redundant publishing? I think these terms you might be coming first time, but these terms are very, very important to consider. Like, what is duplicate or redundant publishing? Publishing same paper or substantially similar paper without citation. It is how it is missing without citation and without obtaining permission of copyright holder. So you are publishing a paper which was already been published, or the similar contents have already been published, and you are again publishing without informing and without seeking permission of copyright holder. So that is called duplicate or redundant publishing. It may be also called as superfluous difference, maybe very or similar to same database. Actually, this slide I have prepared just in the morning because there's some typo error. The same data or similar data sets you are using in that particular paper. So now you can understand that this is a similar paper. It is not allowed. It is called self-plagiarism. So you have to avoid, if you have to publish something like you have published a paper which is in a conference proceeding. Now you want to publish in a journal, or there is a journal, your article published in regional languages. Now you want to publish that in English language. So then there are certain procedures to be involved. Obtain the permission of copyright holder, that is the first criteria. Inform the editor of previous journal and approval of the proposed journal. So you should tell previous journal editor that I am getting it published in this so and so journal, and also inform the next editor of the proposed journal that this paper was published in so and so journal. Now I want to publish this in your journal. And also you need to declare in the article that this article was previously published in so and so journal with complete citation. So these are the things regarding duplicate or redundant publication. Now there is another important thing: simultaneous publishing. What is this simultaneous publishing? Submitting same paper simultaneously in 2 or more journals. Many people, what they do, they submit the same article to number of journals with the expectation that whomsoever will respond first, they will get it published. It is not correct. It is unethical and also amount to be considered a plagiarism and maybe penalties for that. It is also called duplicate submission or multiple submissions. See, in case, as I mentioned to you, that you should check the track record of the journal in terms of how much time it takes for peer review. But if there is any inordinate delay, you feel that it is very high delay in publishing. So what is the procedure you should do? First, you withdraw the paper, but before withdrawing, you should seek consent of other co-authors. If tomorrow your co-authors say that I don't want to withdraw, then you will be in trouble. So first obtain the consent of your co-authors, and then also after that you should write a letter to the editor of that journal that I want to withdraw this article from this journal. And when this information is confirmed, when the editor of that journal where you have submitted earlier agreed to withdraw and give you in writing, you should then you should submit to another journal and keep that withdrawal request, because sometimes suppose editor inform you that you can withdraw, but later they publish the article, you may be in trouble. You may be considered for plagiarism. So best thing is that you should keep the record of that particular email or letter, whatever you have received. Only resubmit after obtaining permission of all the editors and all this. Don't. And when you are submitting again, you should give proper declaration regarding that. Now, if you want to submit some related papers, like there is a paper you have published from your thesis. but similar paper on same data set, or similarly you are writing a similar paper or related paper on the subject. Actually, that also can put you in trouble. So what you should do when you are writing a similar paper or related paper on the subject, disclose the details to both the journals. Inform the previous journal that I am publishing this article in this journal. Inform the editors of both the journals that this article, similar article was published in so and so journal. Now I am proposing a next article in your journal, and also attach copies to all. Like that is important, and this is also applicable if you are submitting two papers simultaneously, same related paper from one thesis. If you are writing two papers which has same database, you should inform and follow these formalities. I will give you an example. I was a member of a very prestigious international Indian research lab, and they put some charges against their scientists for some kind of these plagiarism charges. When I was investigating the matter as a member of the committee, I found that one of the very senior distinguished scientists, he submitted two papers to different journals of Elsevier Science with similar data sets. Now what happened? Both the papers were accepted, but internally the editor of the one journal able to know that this similar data set has been used for the next paper. So then he was asked to explain, and he explained, and later it was found that it was ethically not correct. It was unethical to submit two sets. So what was done? He was given a warning, and he was asked to withdraw the paper. Same time that lab was that organization was institution was informed that your so and so scientist has done this. So then this committee was being. So then I ask is that, dear, why you submitted two papers simultaneously in two journals? You should have waited first to publish, and then you can cite it, and then you can submit the next paper. So he said that I'm not aware of that. So be very careful when you submit or you publish any paper. So simultaneous submission is not allowed. In rare case, if it is allowed, you have to be very careful and you have to follow these guidelines. I hope you are clear on simultaneous papers publishing. Now, there is another important thing, salami slicing or salami publication. So this is not the kind of salute I'm talking about. Salami here is, it here means slicing of research contents from a meaningful paper to different papers. Like suppose, or from a, you are slicing a data from a single research to multiple studies. Like you are claiming, you have done only one survey and you are claiming different surveys. So why people do this? Like people do this slicing to increase publication count, to get more recognition, to get promotion. Like in India, we need to have API score. So many times people try to have, like they have done one research and try to publish many paper on that. And sometimes people misuse it to get the several fundings, like same research is done, submitted for funding to two different agencies. So this is unethical, and this is amounting for punishment. Sometimes people do, they break their studies into part and so separate studies. Sometimes publishing in two or more languages with due permission may be permissible. Like if you are, as I mentioned in case of redundant publication, even in salami slicing, if you have published a paper in regional language, you want to publish in English, but the same thing which I have explained in the previous slide, you have to take all due permissions from the previous journal as well as the proposed journal. And if necessary, editors should be informed and copies of other published papers from same study should be attached. Like if you feel that yes, it is very important to publish because you are giving some new ideas in the next paper. So it is important to properly cite the previous paper and also give certain kind of information to the editor. So I think these few ideas which I have given you should make you understand that when you decide to publish a paper, your publisher should not be amounting to these kind of categories. So your paper should be of original quality. Okay, so that was my first part of presentation. Now, second part of my presentation is that what are the various publication models? We have traditional models. Earlier, everything was in print. Now, print plus online or online only journals, e-journals are published by various commercial publishers, Springer, Wiley, university presses, and local Indian and international publishers. So there are a lot of publication models. There are a lot of publishers of traditional model in your area of subject. Then there are open access models. They are purely under online open access models. Now there is a hybrid model. Hybrid model is what? Like a article, if article is also available in some articles of a journal are available under open access model, and some article of a journal are available in same journal are available in print model. So that is considered the hybrid model. Now, when we talk about these open access journals have three categories mainly. Beside a hybrid model, there is another category, delayed open access journals, like where the content is made open access after delayed with some embargo period. We call it embargo period, like after 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. Till 12 months, it is subscribed based, and after that, it is a free open access article. So that these are the various kind of open access type of open access journal. Now, these open access journals have different models, like gold open access model in which a author or his institute or funding agency pay for certain article processing charges. We call it ABC. Now there is a green model, mainly related to self-archiving or institutional repositories. Then there is a platinum or diamond. This is also a kind of gold open access model, but in this case, author is not paying, or user. In case of gold model, author is paying for it. But in case of platinum diamond, neither author paying nor the users paying. It is totally free. It is the 100% open access journal. But there is a cost involved in it. Somebody has to pay for it. Then comes the bronze medal, similar kind of model, like platinum and bronze, but there is some funding provisions different. Black is something like you might have heard of Sci-Hub. So Sci-Hub is basically it is not legal. It's illegal. So that comes under black model. So there's a certain kind of gratis and leverage model based on certain kind of sponsorship. So I think these are just to your understanding. So I'm here concerned about only one open access model, that is Gold Road to Open Access, where the author's institution or the research project funding agency pay a fee to the publisher at publication time to make the publication available free at the point of access. So that is the gold route. And what I'm going to talk about predatory publishing, most of these predatory publishers are following gold route. That's why I given you focus on gold route. Green road, I mentioned that it is basically self-archiving or institutional repository, etc. So that was to make you understand various kind of open access models and how journals are published in open access models. Now coming to the predatory journals. So let me begin with this some news item published in Hindu in 2017. The Hyderabad-based Omics Group, which publishes over 700 journals, was in the news for its deceptive business practices. The US Federal Trade Commission charged Omics with making false claims about peer review and listing editors who have not agreed to associate with the journals. So this was a news, but that is 100% correct news, and the case is still going on. No decision has been taken. Uh, and background of this is that there is a librarian, Jeffrey Weil, at the University of Colorado in Denver. He first coined the term predatory journals and maintained a listing. He prepared a list of certain journals and said that these are the predatory journals. Many of these journals were under some argument, and people don't agree that these were the predatory journals. It was a basic understanding of that particular individual. Later, this because of controversies, this list was taken by the Jeffrey Well, and the same list then was launched with a revised version, which is called Cable's Blacklist. Now it is available, but Jeffrey Bell's list is not available. Now, what is a predatory journal? A predatory journal is a publication that actively asks researchers for manuscript. They have no peer review system and no true editorial board, and are often found to publish a mediocre or even worthless paper. They also ask for huge publication charges. Actually, I am not agree with that they ask for huge publication charges. This is a news item in Hindu which is defined it, but they charge publication charges. That is true. It is not huge or less. So, when you investigate the matter concerning predatory journals, as of 2015, because I have taken data from a study where it is estimated 996 predatory publishers, including 447 publishers of standalone journals. That all these together published 11,800 journals. And of those, 8,000 journals titles were active and published a total approximately 4,20,000 articles. So you can understand that these predatory journals have published a large amount of articles, that is 4,20,000 articles. And this is a some kind of diagram showing various journals published. So see, India is leading in that 2592. But if you see, most of these journals started after 2010, when this API score was made mandatory for research scores and other things. So that then roadside publishers started the business. They see the big opportunity, and many people misuse that model. And researchers also need to be blamed because they were not able to write quality papers, and just to get the promotions and recruitment, they did this kind of business. And see, no business can sustain until unless there is a customer for it. And when you have customers, that's why predatory journals have been mushrooming in India, and India was leading with 2592 journals. So that is a very serious concern. Now, when you talk about traditional publishing model, these are the subscription models. And when you talk about predatory publishers and journal, so predatory publishers generally exploit the board open access model for their own profit. They take advantage of or exploit and pander to scholarly authors, which they want quick solution, or those who are not aware of that. So it is a mix of that. Some people do it intentionally, some people do it unintentionally without knowing that this is a predatory journal. Generally, these publishers pretend to be legitimate, copying established and respected journal website and practices, and but they are not. Many do a poor or fake peer review. Almost every predatory journal do a poor or fake peer review. So how are predatory journals different from open access journal? Open access journal may solicit authors to publish for a free. They may be charging some author processing charges. Like if you talk about Royal Society of Chemists or Taylor and Francis or anybody, they charge a very high fee, $1,000, $2,000, $1,500 for article publishing in open access. But they maintain high standards for peer review and editing. The goal of open access publishing is to disseminate research to a larger audience by removing paywalls. Open access journal can have impact factors and can create a citation advantage for others. See, basically these predatory journals also have some kind of impact factor. If you talk to them, they will also show you some impact factor. But these impact factors are not real, these are fakes. So then how to check the reputation of a journal. Like how is this journal, open access journal is uh, important or uh, very, very reputed. So is the journal open access? If so, is it listed in the directory of open access journal? That is the one criteria. Is the journal indexed in Medline, Scopus, Web of Science, or other indexing platform? Or is this, like, also check is the journal is in the blacklisting list of CAPBELS or other predatory listing? And is that impact factor is well established? But I can tell you the best person to guide you about journal is right or not, good or not, quality or poor quality or inferior quality. Librarian is the best person to guide you. Many of us in current times are forgetting about the importance of the library. Libraries were relevant and they are relevant and they will be relevant always. And particularly in this complex world of internet, libraries and librarians are more relevant and more required than ever. Now, why research is published in pedigrí journals? This is the reason why people publish in pedigrí journals. See, now there is a compulsion that if you want to recruit as a professor or you want to get promotion, you have to get published some articles. Even during your PhD, you have to contribute to articles. So this mandatory publishing sometimes force those people who are not confident of writing or those feel that they cannot get it published in good quality journal. And also there is another scenario. The amount of articles produced by the world research community, it is impossible to publish all in good quality journals because there is so much of research created nowadays. There is so much information created. Now it is impossible to publish everything in quality journals. In the research environment, there is usually more value for quantity over quality, and there are mindset also. People talk about quantity. How many papers have been published? What is your research score? I think we should learn how to give focus on quality. Like even a person has published one paper, and if it is of quality, it has been well recognized, he should be considered a good researcher. So quality should be like given more focus than quantity. So I know hiring and promotion of academic is required certain criteria, but is that publication number is the only criteria? I think we should learn from the experiences worldwide. We should, I think, somewhere we have not done a thorough study in terms of making our hiring and firing or promotion regulations. We have not done a proper homework. I strongly believe that we think of our recruitment or promotion procedure in academics. Like if you see in US, there is a system of payment based on the language or the area of the teaching. Like if you see the medical professor and management professors are highly paid, and English language professors are paid lowest salary in US. And also they have been paid only 9 months salary. They have been asked to earn 3 months salary. There are only few very, very highly recognized professors who got one year salary total. The rest all given 9 months salary. So I think somewhere we need the rules which should not be based on just number of publications. It should be number of publication may be one criteria, but not the so stringent criteria. And these predatory journals have published many pseudo researchers to prosper. There was a case in a very important defense institute where I was the member of the investigation committee. I found that one person got 800 API score in 1 year. Do you think is it possible to publish so many articles in 1 year to have 800 API score? So definitely, I think these models have given certain kind of flourishes such opportunities. And how it is harmful. Like if you publish in a predatory journal, your work may be subject to subpar peer review. The peer review system is not perfect, but there is a general consensus that papers that undergo peer review are better for it. Your work could disappear. One of your advantages of publishing with a responsible publisher is that they make commitments to preserve your work. It remains on their site for even an article published in National Geographic in 1880. It is remain available today because it is a responsible publisher. But in this case of predatory publishers, there is no guarantee after some time they will remain in business. They may disappear. Your work will be hard to find. Some predatory publishers advertise that they are included in well-known databases like Web of Science or Scopus when they are not. So visibility is very, very difficult. Tracking your research will be difficult. Like if your research is not indexed in proper good databases, indexing databases, then nobody able to know that you have contributed to this article. And moreover, embarrassment, like when you apply for a recruitment and somebody told you that no, your journal is not recognized, so you will not get a research score. And also, sometimes like you become part of a scam. Like every day you will get some mails. We are a so and so journals. Please publish article in that. So you become part of a scheme. So there are a lot of damage to this entire publishing value chain. Like it is a kind of injustice to reader. Definitely, authors suffer. Like some authors may benefit because of wrongdoing to get a promotion or recruitment, but mostly good quality authors suffer because of that. Peer review system is not there, so sometimes these journals publish an article which is not even which has already been published. They do some kind of like redundant or salami, or this all three things which I talked in the beginning: redundant, salami, or simultaneous publishing. They do it very frequently, so they damage the supply publishing value chain. How to identify? So let me give you some tips how to identify a predatory or a fake journal. It is not very difficult. Only what you required is a little bit of understanding. So in these journals, no single individual is identified as a specific journal's editor. You will find a big editorial board. No formal editorial review board or the same editorial board for more than one journal. Like entire publishing group is publishing like this Omex is publishing 200 journals, and many of the editorial boards are responsible for number of journals. The editor and or review board members do not have academic expertise in the journal's field. You will find a person of psychology as an editorial board member in the sociology. They provide very less information. Means they provide insufficient information or hides information about author fees. They are not done proper indexing. The name of the journal is always starting with international, but it is not necessarily related to the mission of the journal. Sometimes they never disclose the origin of the journal. They use boastful languages claiming to be a leading publisher, even though the publisher may only be a startup or a novice organization. But they say we are a reputed publisher, we are a leading publisher. The publisher has poorly maintained websites, including dead links, prominent misspelling, and grammatical errors on the website. The publisher makes unauthorized use of licensed images on their website. Republish papers already published in other venues outright without providing appropriate credits. Provide minimum or very less no copy editing or proofreading of submissions. Publish papers that are not academic at all. They are willing to publish anything. Have a contact page that only include a web form or an email address. They will never give you address, complete address. They also hide the location. The publishers journals that are excessively broad or combine two or more fields not normally treated together. Most of these journals consider multidisciplinary in the sense because they cover many subjects in that. So I think before publishing any journal, you should have some checklist. Uh, do your colleagues know the journal? Yes, that is important. Can you easily identify and contact the publisher? Is the journal clear about the type of peer review it uses? Are articles indexed in services that you use? Is it clear where what fee will be charged? Do you recognize the editorial board? Is the publisher a member of recognizing industry like COAF, DOAJ or OASP? Because most of these are open access journals, so they should be member of DOAJ and OASP. And being a member of Committee on Publication Ethics is one of the stringent criteria of quality of a editor of journal. There are certain lists, if you are still doubtful, then still there are certain lists of edited journals which you can prefer. Like this list of edited journal is now out. In case of that, there is a cable list. I need to check it as well. Cable list, Think Check Summit is another site. Predatoryjournals.com is another site. So that is the way you can find out is this journal a predatory journal or not. Same time, like really if you want to publish an open access journal, so there are ways to know is this open access journal of quality or not. So there are a number of sites which provide you information about an open access journal. Like Directory of Open Access Journal provide you the various kind of, according to the subject you can identify a particular journal. It provides all the details about a particular open access journal. HygieneFactor.org, it also provides no fee open access journal. Like there is some open access journal which they don't charge fee, and this list provides the reputed open access journal which are not charging fee for publishing. They comes under that platinum or diamond model. Then Open Access Quality Publishing Association. Publishers who are listed as member of OASPA are expected to adhere to strict quality control clearance. So just check those journals, check this journal is member of that or not. Then if you are in medical sciences, then International Committee of Medical Journal Editors, just like Committee of Publication Ethics, it is also a reputed Health Science Publishers Association. You can check that. So it is easy to find out, and if still you are doubtful, take help from the librarian. Now I'm going to talk to you about some Indian initiative to avoid publishing in predatory journal. You might be aware of that. This was in I think 2018 or 17. This notification was issued to set up UGC Care. And that main purpose of UGC Care was to avoid publication in predatory journals or WCS journals, or information about such predatory journals, to create a database of the WCS journal. So with this objective, this UGC Care University Grant Commission Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics was established. And after doing some good work for 1 or 2 years, in 2009, June 2019, UGC Care list come out with the list of reference list of good quality journals. And if you talk about the structure of UGC Care list, it has about 100 members in different areas. And there are 4 coordinating universities: North Zone, Jawaharlal University; West Zone, MS University of Baroda; South Zone, Hyderabad University; East Zone, Tezpur University. And there is a UGC cell for journal analysis that is called Center for Publication Ethics. And besides that, they have a UGC Care list, Care Empowerment Committee, and also a management committee. And based on that criteria, this UGC care list, uh, they have divided journals in two categories. There are two groups of journals: UGC care list group 1, UGC care list group 2. So journals indexed in global recognized databases, the UGC care list includes journals from all disciplines indexed in globally accepted databases such as indexed in Scopus source list or Web of Science, Art and Humanity Citation Index source publication, Science Citation Index expanded source publication, Social Science Citation Index source publication. These journals are to be considered for all academic purposes. Journal indexed in Scopus and all Web of Science are part of UGC care list group 2. So, if any journal is already indexed in these international databases, it is automatically part of UGC care list. So, this is the UGC care list 2. Now, what is UGC care list 2? Group 1. This is the group 2 and then group 1. Journals found qualified through UGC care protocols. Like there is some protocols set by the UGC care, and you have to apply your journal to be included in this. A list of Indian journals, especially from disciplines of arts, humanities, language, culture, and Indian knowledge system, is being prepared and updated quarterly. It is not necessarily these subjects. Any subject journal can be included. If that journal is not part of group 2, any journal you feel that this should be there in that, it is included in the group list. But you have to follow certain parameters. You have to apply, there is a form available and there is a government committee which look into it and then they decide on that. Now, other than these two lists, as an Indian researcher, you cannot publish your article in any other journal. Please note, you have to publish your research in UGC care list only. If you don't publish in that, your research will not be recognized. Your research will be considered without a score. So if you want to have a score in that, you have to really apply for this UGC care list. You have to see the journal is there or not. If journal is not there, then you have to apply to include in that. But you cannot publish in any journal which is not part of UGC care list, either group 1 or group 2. So, besides this, UGC care list has also approved that any coordinating member, institution or members can also recommend a journal to be included in the list. But the empowerment committee take a call on that. So sometimes, like, you have to be very careful. There are certain in India there is always people do love to do certain kind of fraud. So some publishers have also started some kind of clone journals. I'm giving you some example. So you have to be very careful when you are choosing a journal from UGC list. You should see the complete detail. Like there is a title Avru. It is in the UGC care list. But another journal is started by somebody is Avru journal, which is very similar to that journal. So sometimes, like you should not publish in Avru journal. It is the same publisher, but the Avru journal is not listed in UGC care list, so you will not get it. So you have to be very careful about these clone journals also. So now I have given you idea that how not to publish in pedigreed journals, and now I have given you a mandatory guidelines that you have to publish your article in the journals, in those journals which are part of UGC care list. So it is clear to you now. So you are very clear now what to publish and how to publish and where not to publish and where to publish. I'm coming you the last part of my presentation, which is how to choose a journal. Like how to find out the right journal for your research, your manuscript. Because sometimes submitting your manuscript to unsuitable journal is a common mistake and can cause journal editor to reject the manuscript before peer review. Choosing a relevant journal make it more likely that your manuscript will be accepted. Some factors to be considered are the topic, the journal publisher if your research is applied, target a journal that publisher applied science if it is clinical, target a clinical journal if it is basic research, target a journal that publisher basic research. You may find it easier to select a journal. You also know about the journal audience, who are the people reading that journal. So your research should be read. And also you should know the type of articles the journal publishes. Like if you are looking at a publisher which is publishing article which is not related to your research, that is not a suitable journal for you. Then reputation of journal is also important. And you also need to know your personal requirement, like how quickly article should be published. And so this I have already given you tips on how to select a journal. Now, how to choose a journal? There are certain websites. Like this is a find journal, journal finder. It is from Elsevier Science. Elsevier Science is a very reputed publisher, you all know. And you can go to the journal finder, enter title and abstract of your paper to easily find journals that could best suit publishing. Journal finder use smart search technology in field of research specific vocabulary to match your paper to scientific journal. So if you want to publish in a scientific journal, go to journal finder and it will give you all complete information about the list of journals which are suitable for your research. So what you need, first you have to prepare an abstract of your article and then title of the article. Two things are important to choose a journal: abstract of your article and title of the article. So journal finder is the one tool to check which journal is suitable for your research. That's all. Then there is another Web of Science group has master journal list. Web of Science is also having journal citation report and also provide you the list of journals. But in case of journal citation report, you get the list of journals with high impact factors. It will not help you in checking and finding out a journal based on your matching your journal with the article or title or abstract. But in case of journal citation report, you can know what are the best journal in your area of interest which you are looking for. Okay, so this is another. It's a free, and all these I'm talking are free. So here you can search journals and journals indexed in Web of Science very easily. This master journalist, and accordingly you can choose which journal is suitable for your research. Now there is a JANE, Journal Author Name Estimator. This is a database, and in this what you have to do, you can search with title by using keywords. You can also search using abstract. So mostly the JANE contains the data from PubMed. So all the journals which are part of quality journal which are part of PubMed or Medline or Medlars or Directory of Open Access journals are connected with this. So this is another way of knowing which journal is right for your research. Journal guide. This is another such database which help you to find the best journal for your research. So you have to give the manuscript title and manuscript abstract, and when you search, it will give you the list of journals which are useful for your research. So that's another important tool to know about your research and choose a particular journal for your research. Then come another important, this is created by Vanderbilt University Medical Center, Spy Hub, Scholarly Publishing Information Hub. This is also to identify journal in which to publish your research. So in this, you have to, you can give 5 keywords. You can do free keywords also. And then you can find out which journal is suitable for your research. Then Wiley is also having a database called Journal Finder. So in this also, Journal Finder of Wiley, you can give manuscript title and manuscript abstract. So you can know which journal are good for your research. So that will also help you in understanding in which Wiley journal you should publish your research. Then this journal suggestion of Springer Nature. Springer Nature is also having a similar database, manuscript title and manuscript any text introduction. Or it is not necessary to give abstract, but better to give abstract in that. Abstract is the best thing to search, so you can know what are the good journals for your researcher research in Springer Nature. So I think these are the some of the journals. There are many. I have not gone to the all such databases, but every publisher has a way of knowing which journals suit your requirement. So I think to conclude, I just want to give you some final comments. The first thing is that after preparing abstract and title of your article, first before writing the complete article, what's the tip I will recommend you? First, write the abstract and the title of the article, and then look for a journal. And how to look for a journal? As I mentioned that first you decide you want to publish in traditional journals, you want to publish in open access journal. If you want to submit in open access journal, which open access you want to publish in hybrid journals or total open access journal, and then you have to choose which open access journal you should publish. And then you should look for all these databases, Journal Suggestor or Journal Finder, and identify the journals. You can take help from journal citation reports also. So then you identified the journal which is best suitable for your research. And after that, the next step you need to follow, go to UGC care list and check if that journal is listed in UGC care list. If that journal is not listed in UGC care list, you should not publish in that journal. So, and after finalizing that journal, then you go and see the guidelines of that journal and see various guidelines regarding how to write a paper. And then you should write a paper. And after writing your complete paper, but before that, you should also register on ORCID, which I explained you in the last presentation. You should also check the plagiarism in your article using plagiarism detection software. You also give complete citation, use reference management tool like Mendeley, EndNote, and Zotero for those kind of your things. And then finally, after writing a good article, then you should submit your article. And as I mentioned, that don't submit article to more than one journal simultaneously. First submit to one publisher, and if you don't get a response, then you can withdraw it and submit to others. So follow all these guidelines and other things. So this presentation was just to make you understand that choosing a journal is an important thing for publishing your research, and also ensure that that journal should be indexed in good indexing databases, because then you can track it, you can enhance the visibility of the research, because citations are also important. So you should publicize your article by listing yourself to the different sources or different places like ResearchGate or academia or on Mendeley and other places, and also look for better citations, because that better citation give you better recognition as a researcher. More visibility to your research give you more, as a more reputation as a researcher. So with these words, I acknowledge all the sources I used in presentation, and I thank the organizers for inviting me to deliver this talk. My email IDs are noted below. You can just take it, and I'll be giving PDF copies of my presentation to organizers sometime today or tomorrow, and then they can circulate it to you. And with these words, I would like to stop share and we'll come to the screen, and we'll be happy to interact and take up the question and answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for your nice presentation on predatory journals. Dear participants, now you can post your questions in the question and answer box. Already some questions are there. So what do you mean by quartile? 1, 2, 3, 4.
See, quartile is a like just impact factor, and because I'm not prepared to answer this question because that wasn't a topic I was speaking, but it is dealt with your there's a formula applied to regarding citations. So this is something like average citation score or something in a particular manner. It is calculated. So there is some formula right now. I don't remember about this quartile, but it is dealt with like you have H index, I index, and similarly there is a quartile. That is all dealt with the citation. So right now I am not, but I can respond. Somebody send me email. I will send a response to that on quartile, because there is a formula which I don't remember right now.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I have published a paper on UGC list journal. Few months later, I found that the journal removed from UGC care list. I want to know what is the future of my paper.
When you publish your paper, if that journal, let me clarify this very clear to all of you, that there was a UGC list before care list. So if any of you have published a paper based on the listing in the earlier UGC care list, if your date of publication was the same as journal was listed in that particular list of UGC journals, you will very much get a score for it. And also in UGC care list, tomorrow there is a journal and you publish a research in that. Tomorrow, after some time, it may not be there. Today it is there, but tomorrow it may not be there. So it doesn't make the difference. The issue is that the date of your, at the time of your publication, it should be either part of UGC old list or new list. So if it is part of your list when you publish the article, it is valid and you will get a score for it all the time. You have to keep a proof of that along with it.
Thank you so much, sir. So next question is, I have published an article in a junk journal without DOI of the article. How can I republish this same article in a reputed journal?
As I mentioned that republishing an article is the entire decision of the journal, of the editor of the journal or the editor, publisher. So when you want to republish your article, you have to give a complete information that I publish this journal. First of all, you have to seek permission from that particular, it may be a junk journal or whatever it is. So you have to seek permission from that journal, copyright holder, who is the publisher or in the editor, that I want to republish this paper in some other journal. So after obtaining the publisher of that particular journal, where it was published earlier, you attach that permission and also disclose and request the journal which you want to republish again, that this article was published in this and these are the reasons why I want to republish it. Please consider. And it is up to the journal editor or publisher to accept it or not. but there is an option you can try it.
Thank you so much, sir. So next question, if I want to publish many papers from my PhD thesis, how can I avoid slice publishing?
There is no harm in publishing many papers from your thesis, but you should be careful that first of all, you should not show this as independent studies. Second thing, you should not use the same data set. You should clearly declare, if you have submitted a similar paper from the thesis, you should declare that. And better to attach the copy of that particular paper to the publisher that on same thesis, this paper was published earlier. So then if editor feel that yes, your new paper is having some new thoughts, if that he accepts, then it's fine. It is not considered Islamic publication because you are not doing any unethical thing. You are keeping the editor informed. So important thing is that there is no harm in publishing similar paper or related papers, but it should be done ethically by following all norms which I have explained in my slides. So if you follow the rules, there is no problem.
Thank you so much, sir. How long it takes for a newly published local journal to make it on the UGC CARE list? For comparison, to get impact factor, one journal should have already published for 5 years.
UGC CARE list is having a protocol. It is available on the UGC CARE list website. There are certain parameters like number of years in publishing, or I don't remember how many years it is mentioned, but if you go to UGC CARE list, you will find out. And then also you should be a member of COPE, or they ask all the information regarding a journal. So I think they have very clearly given the protocol guidelines, and you should check. I have not downloaded that because I feel it is mostly for the journal editor and publisher. So if you want to see, it is very clearly defined on UGC CARE list. On the website you go and you can download the UGC protocol for adding a new journal. Everything is given in that.
Thank you, sir. Well said. How to include a journal in UGC CARE journal list?
There are number of ways. First thing is, as a publisher can write directly to UGC cell. There is a UGC cell which analyze this data. So there is a protocol form which I was just talking. You download that form and upload, provide all the information in that format, and publisher can directly write to it. These 4 coordinating universities, North, South, West, East, they can also recommend a journal. Every member of UGC CARE list, like we are a member in the field of art and humanities. So we can also recommend any journal which we found is good, and it can be included in that. Even an individual author, like suppose if you want to publish an article in some journal which is not part of that, you can directly also recommend, but better to go through those coordinating universities or a member. There's a list of 100 members are given. So if it is routed through a member, UGC CARE member, or coordinating university, it will be better because that will be supportive and will be considered better. When you write directly, it may take some time, and also will not be given that consideration. So these are the number of ways you can recommend inclusion of any journal in UGC CARE list. It may be national journal or international journal.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, you have mentioned about that UGC CARE journals. I found some journals in CARE list are predatory journals.
If you feel any journal in the CARE list is a predatory journal, there is a way to write for that also. So with sufficient proof, you write again to the UGC cell that this is a predatory journal, and that empowered committee will look into that. If they convince that this is a predatory journal, they may remove that journal. So this is possible to include or delete any journal from UGC CARE list by writing to all these stakeholders.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, what if we come to know after publication that the journal is a cloned journal? and not original one, what action should we take? Will the publication count for caste promotion?
No, if it is clone journal, it will not be counted. Because in that case, except taking matter with the publisher, you cannot do anything, because nobody can help you. That's why I'm saying, why I'm giving you this presentation to you, that not to publish in Predatory Journal or Clone Journal, because that is the way these kind of research methodology programs are organized, or refresher courses are organized, to make you aware that you should not do any kind of wrongdoings. Because once you do something wrong, like somebody committed a murder and say that I did it wrongly or without so there is no excuse for any offense, because after committing an offense you cannot claim. But I think that's why prevention is the best cure, and you should be better aware of all these things. Only then it is possible to.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, what are some of the criteria needed for the institution to establish a journal?
The first criteria is that need, why you want to publish, what is the level of research you are doing. Because the university, if you are a larger university, you have various departments which is doing various kind of research. So first thing is that why you need it. Do you have sufficient researcher, or and then scope. You want to do it for a particular subject, or you want to do it for interdisciplinary, or you want to cover articles of your institute, or you want to cover it articles from other institutions. Like you want to have an in-house journal, or you want to a national journal, or you want to a journal with international object. So then objective and scope of the journal should be clearly done. Then you should decide you want to have an open access journal, or you want to have a commercial journal. And if you want to have an open access journal, you want to have which model? You want to have a gold open access, or diamond open access, or bronze. And then also there are certain issues like what should be the structure of that journal? Who should be the member of the editorial board? Who should be the editor? And then also sustainability. Like you should answer that how you are going to sustain it. Funding, cost involved in it. Nothing comes free. Even open access journal is not free. There is a cost involved in it. So there is a number of issues which one has to really look into that before starting a journal. If you are seriously interested, I developed a model in JNU. Actually, Vice Chancellor Professor Sapori wants me to start JNU Press. So I developed a model for creating a JNU Press in JNU. But after that, he stormed over, and I also left JNU. So that I didn't finalize. But if any one of you is interested and from the university and want to reestablish a press and want to start a journal, I can share my thoughts on that. Individually, you can write to me.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, regarding that impact factor, normally we should follow that JCR, Journal Citation Report impact factor. Normally we should follow. But apart from that, NAS rating is there, Copernicus rating is there. This kind of rating we may consider for our impact factor.
It all depends that how guidelines look into that. Like when we talk about API score, what kind of impact factor our controlling body or authorities are accepting. Most important thing we should know, like when we are talking about research score. So our university, our UGC, generally in the guidelines, these things are mentioned that what impact factor is acceptable. So first thing is that you should see those guidelines. And then also there is a criteria to evaluate impact factors, like which impact factor is real, which is fake. So there are a number of ways. I think I wish if I'm prepared, I could have you need a complete talk on this particular impact factor issues, because this impact factor is having many dimensions, many angles, and each or like it may be Google Scholar or Scopus or Web of Science, they have different variations. And all these, the way these impact factors are calculated, there are a lot of issues. That's why many predatory publishers also show that we have so and so impact factors. So this impact factor is a very critical and very debatable issue. So I think I cannot give you an answer that which one you should accept it, but definitely the most one is ACR and the CR. That should be put in consideration.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, is there any impact factor for English literature journals?
I think see, impact factor is not based on any language. Impact factor is there is a formula. Based on that, you can calculate the impact factor of any journal. Now it is up to that particular agency, is that are they including that journal in the impact factor list or not. But impact factor can be calculated for any journal. It is not English, it is Hindi. Even in your regional languages, you can calculate it impact factor by applying that formula.
Nicely, you have answered most of the questions from the audience and the participants. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind help and support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Goswami. Wish you all the best, and thank you. Bye bye. Have a good day.
Okay, sir. Bye bye. Dear participants, now still we are having 10 minutes time is there. So we